So we have learned about IRMS current. I is equal to 0.707 of I maximum and VRMS is equal to 0.707 of V maximum. Vm is equal to Im into R. If we divide by root 2, V is equal to IR. So here we have seen that Ohm's law is valid whether we are using maximum current or this IRMS current. So Ohm's law is valid for both of them. So what is advantage of this IRMS current? So this equation 7.9 gives the relation between AC current and AC voltage because these are IRMS value, and it is very similar to that is DC case. The advantage of RMS value is that in RMS value the equation and the relation between current and voltage is same. They are same as for DC case. Otherwise there will be a very serious problem that we have to remember new relations. The benefit of using these RMS value is that we don't have to remember new formulae. We use same formulae as we use in DC voltages with IRMS current. Now let us see what is the voltage in our country. So standard voltage in our country is 220 volts, but again this is not peak voltage, this is RMS value. This is RMS value. So RMS value, so we know that V is equal to V max upon root 2. So maximum voltage will be root 2 of RMS value. So V maximum voltage is equal to under root 2 of V. So under root 2 is 1.414 into 220 volt. So we get 311 volt. So the 220 volts that is coming in our homes, that is the RMS value of voltage. But if we want to calculate what is the maximum voltage, that is 311 volt. Again, in fact, I or RMS current is equivalent to DC current that would produce the same average power loss as the alternating current. Equation 7.7 can also be written as, so we have written P is equal to V square upon R, that is equal to IV, since V is equal to IR. So let us see P is equal to IV. This is again another case. Let us check once more that we are getting the AC values or not. This is for DC. This is for DC. I was I maximum upon root 2. V was V maximum upon root 2. So what we get? We get I max V max upon root 2. So root 2 into root 2, sorry, this is 2. Root 2 into 2, this is 2. Again we are getting half of the maximum power, that means this relation is also true. Because we started with DC relation and we are getting the AC relation, that means all the relations are true. All the DC relations are true if we take RMS values. Let us solve one numerical example, then we will understand this much better. So a light bulb is rated 100 watt. So what is power consumed? 100 watt for a 220 volt supply when we connect it to 220 volt supply. Now we have to find the resistance of the bulb, we have to find R, the peak voltage of the source, again V max we have to calculate, and the RMS current through the bulb, and current RMS, that means root mean square current, that we have to find. So initially we have given P is equal to 100 watt, voltage is equal to 220 volt. Now let us calculate the resistance. So formula is P is equal to V square upon R. From this formula we get R is equal to V square upon P. See again this formula for DC current, and we can use same formula if we use RMS values. So this 220 volt is RMS value. So R is equal to V square upon P, this formula. V is equal to 220 volt square of this divided by 100. When we calculate we get 484 ohm. So the resistance of the bulb is 484 ohm. Now second part, we have to calculate the peak voltage. Peak voltage, how do we calculate? Maximum voltage is root 2 times of this RMS voltage, and that we have already calculated, that is around 311 or 310 volts. Now we have to calculate the RMS current. RMS current. So we have this formula, P is equal to IV. This is for DC. But again, if we use RMS value for AC, then we get same result. So VRMS is 220 volt. So IRMS is equal to P upon V. In that case, we get IRMS value that we needed, RMS current. So we are calculating this. P is equal to IV. So I is equal to P by V, 100 watt upon 220 volt. What we get? 0.454 ampere. This is the RMS value of current. This is RMS value of current. If we want maximum current is simply root 2 of this RMS value. So if we multiply it with root 2, we get the maximum current. Now next topic is phasor diagram or phasors. So this is very important. We also say them rotating vector, rotating vectors, representation of AC current and voltage by rotating vectors. These rotating vectors are called phasors. Let us understand what are phasors. So in class 11th, we have learned that rotating motion, suppose we are rotating something. So this rotational motion can be represented as sinusoidal wave. Let us see what will happen if we do the reverse. Suppose this rotating motion is happening and this rotating motion is represented by this vector or this magnitude. Then we call this vector a phasor. So here the frequency is omega. Let us say this is omega. This is a sine wave with frequency of omega and time is t. So that this sine wave can be represented by an arrow or a vector. That vector is called rotating vector or phasor because it is rotating with velocity of omega. Now let us see how this works. Suppose this vector at initially here. So if we put line here, so we get 0 value. If this vector comes here, at that time we get this value. Further, if it gets here, so what is the value we get here? And when this goes to maximum, we get this maximum value. In this way, rotation of this vector is generating this wave. Again, when this goes on this side, this magnitude comes down. So here what we are seeing, that as this vector is rotating, it is generating a sine wave kind of structure. See it once more. So we take a vector for which maximum value is equal to this maximum value. Okay, so maximum value is equal to this. Now we start rotating this vector. So when this vector rotates or comes here, so what the value we get? We get value, this value here. Further, when this vector comes here, we get 0 value. Further rotation, we get this value. Further rotation, we get this value. Then we rotate, we get this value. If we rotate here, we get this value. So in this way, we are seeing that rotation of vector is generating a sine wave. So when we generate a sine wave by rotating a vector, that is called phasor. Here we see that there are two vectors, one for current, one for voltage, because in a resistive circuit where only resistance is there, suppose this is AC current and we have only resistance. Okay, so we have what we have, this is resistance. So what we have seen that for a resistor, this voltage, suppose this is voltage and this is current. Both were in phase. That means both were maximum at the same time, both were minimum at the same time. So we get two phasors, one for I, another for V, but both are in same direction. Only thing is changed, magnitude. So this bigger vector for voltage, smaller for I. But again, as we have discussed earlier, the magnitude of V and I depend on R. It can be case that where magnitude of I is high and voltage is low. When can this be possible? Suppose resistance is less than 1 ohm. If R is less than 1 ohm, we get higher current than voltage. But what is important for a resistive circuit? For a resistive circuit, both should be in same direction. So we have a rotating vector, a vector that is rotating with this velocity, rotational velocity of omega. Rotational velocity of omega and generating this sine wave. And for resistive circuit, direction of current and voltage are same.